The biggest question I have going into this review is, can Sally change my mind? Because right now, I'm kind of pegging her for the worst of the entire Race and Rescue Radiator Springs Rally Race Expanded Universe series. I just don't think she has good graphics. I think the idea of her being in the series as a rescue type vehicle doesn't make much sense. Now, granted, you guys keep telling me there's a book coming out for Race and Rescue in September. It's going to answer all your questions. It will contextualize everything. And I hope you're right. I cannot wait for this book. Don't get me wrong. But yeah, guys, let's get into the Diecast, because Diecast is all we have to back up Race and Rescue and mini racers and some other stuff, play sets and whatnot. But yes, this came out of Case Y of 2025 singles. I already reviewed the other cars in the case that were new, including Rally Race Jeff Gorvette, who I had mixed feelings about, and Race and Rescue Morgan Martins, who I think is quite nice, but obviously the main issue of him being rescaled, and let's just call it for what it is, downscaled, shrunken down, is a little unfortunate. But let's dive into Sally here. Now, this is your normal Sally artwork that they repurposed for Race and Rescue. And whoever did a pretty good job, but they did too good of a job because they put some nice white stripes on the cones up there that then Mattel decided not to include on the diecast itself. And to me, I just think that's a really bad oversight because Mattel controls, like they're the ones that are doing these artworks. So they can choose whether or not to put the white stripes on or not, or just leave them blank orange. Why not just leave them blank orange so it matches the diecast? You got to think about those things. I think it makes it look worse because you're looking at this and yeah, the artwork looks really cool. You get to the diecast and already right off the bat, you're like, oh, well, that kind of sucks. They didn't include that, right? It's not like with Corey Turbowitz. Pixar's like, here, this is Corey Turbowitz. Here's a nice picture of her. And Mattel's like, yeah, that's nice. But you know what? She's not going to have side view mirrors. We're just going to cut those off. Mattel actually was in control of what this artwork looked like. Disney and Pixar, trust me, they are not the ones doing these animations for all these sidelines. But getting past that, everything else looks solid here. New for 2025, Race and Rescue. The logo that she sports on her hood, though, is a little differently colored than the traditional logo that we get here on the package and then most of the other Race and Rescue diecast. So I wanted to take note of that. There are two of her in this case, unlike Morgan and Jeff, that are just limited to one. So she will be easier to find. Not even just because she, is arguably the worst of the three, but there's just more of her. Race and Rescue Luigi and Guido were in Case X. Race and Rescue Red and Jackson over here for the Rally Race were in Case W. My stores, my targets are stuck on Case W. They just keep on getting more W's in. I have found remnants of Case X at Meyer that did not include Luigi and Guido, unfortunately. And my stores haven't even sniffed Case Y over here yet. So we're very much so in this territory. Hopefully we can move past that. But at least all these cases are out in some capacity somewhere. Like Australia's got them in. I know many places in Europe are as well. Mexico has had Case Y for a while now. But anyways, let me rip her open. And yeah, we're going to check her out. Now, because I'm really trying to like her, I'm really trying to have my mind changed, I'm going to lead with two things I really like about her. First off, okay, so when Mattel releases Sally, they either do one of two things. You either get the original 2006 flat pancake Sally that they've pretty much had in the lineup for the entirety of its existence. However, in 2018, now remember this was still China, but I feel like China versus Thailand here doesn't really matter for the debate we're going for. But in 2018, they debuted a new model of Sally, and they used it for the Radiator Springs Classic line. They used it for the main line, and it's just way more accurate to what Sally looks like in the movie. She's not as flat. She's a little taller, a little thinner, and it's a way better model. That expression looks phenomenal. I mean, it's just beautiful. I'm so happy that they finally corrected her after all this time. But then in 2019, they reverted back to the original version of Sally here, while also keeping the other version around for special occasions, I guess you could say. Like, all right, we used it for Metallic Sally in 2019. Okay, that's cool. Glad you brought it back for that. Nice and inconsistent. And then they kind of debuted a third model of Sally. It's just, guys, it's all over the place right now. It is really, the Sally chaos is almost unquantifiable. Let me show you the Vietnam version of Sally here that was in the Welcome to Radiator Springs series. Now this one more closely matches what we've gotten from, 2018 Chinese Sally, 2019 Metallic Sally. They're taller, thinner models, right? Okay. Then in 2021, we get kind of a hybrid of the two models, and the easiest way to tell the difference is the expression here. You have the heavier black eyeliner, which I think looks good, and the model is flatter, but it's not quite as flat, I would say. And so that's what they did Racing Red Sally in. That is what they did the Pixar Fest version of Sally in. That is what they did the Disney 100th anniversary version of Sally in. And in 5-packs exclusive to Walmart, like the Willie's Butte 5-pack. That's the model of Sally that they use. But still in the main line, even, what we're getting in the main line currently, it's this version of Sally here. This is the Thailand version, by the way. So you're looking at exactly what we're getting currently when it comes to a mainline single Sally. Here we have a mainline single Sally, but it's Race and Rescue, and now they're using the other model. So it just really makes no sense, guys. There's no rhyme or reason to what model of Sally they're using. But I want to point out that they chose the better one. They decided to do the heavier eyeliner, better expression, slightly better model. Good. I like that. Also, I feel like this was inspired a little bit by Sally with Cone, from the iconic scene in the first movie when she bumps into the cones in front of her motel while she's talking to Lightning McQueen. Mattel obviously has released that version of Sally starting way back in 2008. So it holds a special spot in my heart. And I feel like the decision for Sally to be the cone carrier with this little roof rack was inspired by the fact that she has had experience with cones in the past with white stripes. So those are the two things I really like about her. Not like they're groundbreaking or anything. I'm trying to give Mattel some credit here where I can find it. But anyways, I do like the expression. Again, this is a way better look at Sally than what we typically get here with her just looking so bland, so lifeless. This looks pretty solid. Now for the logo here, Radiator Springs Race and Rescue, red, yellow, and dark blue. It's similar to what we have been getting on almost everybody else, but it is slightly different. You could tell that there's more blue. The yellow's a little more faded. I don't know. It's interesting. It's very similar, but also different. Here you can see how it looks on Mater. And this is really no big surprise because we've seen variants of the Race and Rescue logo before on characters like Sarge here, where it's very much so different. And same thing with Sheriff. So I'm cool with that. She's got gray wheels here in the front and then dark blue in the back to match these stripes. Now, she is the only Race and Rescue character besides Lightning McQueen himself that has mixed wheels. All of the other ones have the same kinds of wheels, front and back. All the rally racers have mixed wheels. So that's an important distinction. It's almost like they thought she could maybe fit as a rally racer, which, who knows, that might have made more sense. She is a Porsche after all, but then switched her over to Race and Rescue because someone came up with the cone idea and someone really liked that. But yeah, I just find these graphics really bland. I think an easy switch, an easy improvement would have been to make these stripes red. I'm trying to think, like yellow would look probably a little bit better and then make the text like the dark blue. I'm not sure. I feel like the stripes being red and just don't change anything else. Maybe change this wheel to red or just change this wheel to gray. Actually, just make all of them gray. change the stripes to red, and you actually might have something cooking. You might actually have something good on your hands. I just don't like the dark blue. I'm not a big fan of that. But she does have a little sparkle in her paint, which is nice. Here is the roof rack. This is a plastic piece that they have now mounted around her body. I mean, it looks fine. It's solid. Cones are nice and plastic. Don't step on her. That would probably hurt. I do want to give you guys an idea of the size of the cones. Like if you have one maybe from a Mini Racer Advent calendar. These ones are smaller. You could even like expand upon this and make her carry a few more cones for you. That's actually not too shabby. And yeah, they're a little smaller than the Sally with cone that we've gotten in the past. So just want to let you guys know on that. Let's take a look here at the base. U22A means she was produced during the 22nd week of 2025 at the A factory in Thailand. She does have her iconic 301 PCE California license plate. Looking pretty good, not too blurry. This is Thailand as well, and they did a pretty good job with this. They just add some black trim. That was not there before. And the blue stripes kind of continue around the back here to wrap everything up. I think it looks fine. I do like how they painted in the slits in the trunk here black. Like that's something that they usually don't do. In fact, maybe the only version that they have done that on is the Precision Series version, because I'm looking at all the ones I brought out and none of them have that. So that is nice. I also like how the taillights look a little bit more accurate. They're not just red blobs. And that is something that comes with this better model of Sally, as you can see here, like with the Racing Red version. Oh, that's not a good example, but you guys get what I'm saying. Yeah, the Sally Pandemonium is just wild. Just so many Sally variants. Yeah, I'm not going to lie, guys. She still is probably going to be my least favorite from the Race and Rescue line. She didn't really do anything to win me over. I like the expression, and that's kind of it. I feel like she's just very weak. Not a whole lot went into her design. They were like, okay, the cones are cool, and then they're just like, leave it at that. Because even comparing her to Sheriff, I think Sheriff has a lot more going for him. They changed up the entire backing of him to make it look white with the gold stripes there. You have the new Race and Rescue logos and all that. I think that's a big dub. I mean, Guido's got the fireman helmet and a really altered paint job for how little surface area he has. Sarge and her definitely competing for the bottom of the barrel here. But Sarge, I mean, I love his fire extinguisher. I like the stripes here in the back as well. So, I don't know. You guys let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Am I being too harsh on Sally? I mean, what the hell? I mean, it's just poor Sally, right? She's just trying to get involved, try and enjoy herself out there. And I'm just flaming her. No pun intended. But no, I mean, I just think compared to all these other ones, she is one of the weaker installments. But let me know your thoughts. I will see you guys soon for another video. Bye now.